Take your marks.
The first final on night one is underway. Alex Perkins in lane 4 has started very well, and Lily Price alongside her in lane 5.
Interesting, just watching the line-up behind the blocks there before. Alex Perkins taking her time, getting herself steady. She's one of the last ones onto the blocks, knows the opportunity in front of her tonight. As we talk about a few of our big names missing, opening up opportunities. Lizzie Deckers with some work to do over in lane 2. We know that she loves the 200 butterfly, but would love to qualify for this 100.
So Perkins swimming right up to her heat performance this morning. 15 metres or so to swim. She leads by half a body length. She looks strong. She's in front of the qualifying line. She's off to Singapore, Alex Perkins. It's a tremendous swim. 56.42, and Lily Price in second has also beat the qualifying time, so they'll be flying the Australian flag in Singapore.
Great swim from Alex Perkins there. Just looked controlled, 56.42. Good time for her. Of course, we're looking for fast times, but all important is under that qualifying time. So Lily Price with 57.82 sneaks under by 8/100ths of a second of the qualifying time. Wonderful to have two women heading over for individual events to Singapore.
So Alex broke 57 seconds for the first time in her career this morning, and she's backed that up with a slick time in the final tonight. So her trajectory is very impressive heading towards a World Champs in Singapore. So Alex Perkins and Lily Price, the first two members of the Dolphins team to head to the World Champs of 2025.
Yeah, we have a little bit of shock, a little bit of surprise, but a lot of joy down here on pool decks. Alex, I'm going to start with you. PB in the heat, another massive PB in the final. What are you doing?
You know, I think that 56 was a long time coming. I've worked really hard since Olympics, I think, just to fine-tune all those little things. So, yeah, I couldn't be happier with that.
Now, you have also changed coaches. You have Michael Sage. You're the same club, still on the Sunshine Coast. What extra flavour has he brought?
I think it's been a really good change, you know, since Olympics. It's always tough with a new coach, and you kind of have to trust the process. But I think we work really well together and are able to communicate with, you know, what I need.
Well, clearly he has you sorted out. That is absolutely flying form. Lily, you were also flying. Congratulations. You are off to Singapore.
Yeah, thank God. It was such a relief. I wanted to go a bit quicker than that, but I can't complain. I'm on the team, so just back to training and hopefully faster.
Talk to me about that relief. It's very nerve-wracking coming out. You know that you have a qualification on the line. What are the nerves like coming out behind the blocks?
Honestly, not as bad as I thought they would be. I was like very, very nervous last year at Olympic trials. So I've been trying to work on that because that kind of let me down last year. So yeah, I don't know. I knew I could do the time. It was just about putting it together tonight.
Well, you did it, and you did it in style. Congratulations, ladies. You are on the plane to Singapore. Our first two qualifiers for the World Championship team. Woo!
Take your marks.
Away we go in the final of the men's 200 metres freestyle multi-class, and the swimmers in lanes 3, 4 and 5. Darren Sisman and Jack Ireland and Declan Budd are the ones vying for the qualifying time in the S14 classification of 1:57.05, and it's already Ireland showing out in front.
This is a qualifying event for our S14 swimmers with athletes that have an intellectual impairment, which leads to difficulties with pattern recognition, sequencing and memory. So athletes within this S14 class must have an IQ of 75 or lower. So these athletes have generally a slower reaction time and take a little longer with learning new techniques as well as slower on the turns. But Jack Ireland, he means business. He is throwing it down this evening, chasing a personal best time, and seeing swimming well and truly under that qualifying time already.
And Sisman and Declan Budd are both right on the qualifying time. What a swim this is from 19-year-old Samuel Gould. Massive night for the Gould family. His sister Lily Ann also competing here today.
Very talented family. We will see Lillian competing later today, and we can see Darren Sisman and Declan Budd making ground on Jack Island here. Declan a little disappointed with his swim this morning outside the qualifying time. He went out very hard in that first 100 and didn't leave enough in the tank in the last 25 metres in particular, but he doesn't look like he's tiring as of yet, Speedy.
So Ireland turns in 124.8. Remember, the qualifying time is 157.05. Can all three get under that mark here? It's Ireland about a body length and a half in front, and Budd starting to challenge Sisman at the back end here.
Declan Budd just lifting that stroke rate up. He knew that he didn't finish strongly this morning, so he's trying to lift that rate, get under that qualifying time, which he's under at the moment.
He's going to do it. Ireland will hit the wall first, and the budding superstar Declan Budd is on the plane to Singapore. Sisman in third. What a race. Look at Declan Budd begin the celebrations. The 17-year-old becomes a Dolphin.
Declan Budd off to his first Australian swim team. There are his parents there who worked so hard alongside his coach, Rafael Rodriguez, who taught him how to swim when he was just 5 years old and has coached him all the way through his first Australian swim team. Congratulations. Declan Budd, you're off to Singapore.
It wasn't long ago that he was focusing on Brisbane 2032, but then he's thinking LA 2028 with all these times that he's putting up. Now he's going to World Champs in 2025.
Look, that experience that he will have in Singapore will be invaluable, and he can still look to Brisbane 2032, but I think this time now he needs to maybe keep his mind focused on not only making that team, but maybe taking out, hopefully, the gold medal in Brisbane.
And the first man to congratulate him, his hero, Jack Island, who wins the final in 154.38, and he nearly had a second to spare there, Declan Budd, in 156.19.
What a moment, Speedy. I am going to start with the winner, Jack Island. Cool, calm, collected. You led from start to finish. What did you make of that race?
Yeah, it felt good. But, yeah, the plan was to take it out solid in the heat this morning and see what I can do tonight. So I'm pretty happy with that, after backing it up, going quicker.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal race. Now, you were swimming alongside someone who idolises you. What does it mean to have young swimmers coming through and looking up to you as their hero?
Yeah, it's pretty different actually, but it's really good to have that type of thing, like leading by example for the next generation. But it's really good to see someone like Declan hitting a qualifying time for this year's World Championships.
Well, I am going to bring probably the most excited man in Adelaide tonight, Declan Budd. You are officially a Dolphin.
Thank you.
Talk me through what is going through your mind right now.
Crazy, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm fucking happy, you know.
That's pretty happy in layman's terms. Now, you were swimming alongside your hero. What does it mean to touch behind Jack tonight?
It means quite a lot, because, like, I've been watching him ever since I started swimming. He just inspired me to just keep on improving, keep on swimming, and yeah.
Were you expecting that from yourself tonight?
Yeah, I was. This morning I did a pretty good heat swim. I had to fix my race plan on the final, but it worked out pretty good.
Showing maturity beyond his years. Now, I think that there are two people who might be second and third most excited people in Adelaide, and it is your parents, and Gian has them. Let's hear what they have to say.
They certainly are, Kate. They're also incredibly proud. Giselle and Richard, congratulations. Now tell me, are you going to go to Singapore to watch your son race?
Thanks, Jan. Yes, we will be going.
We've got to talk about the fact that we've talked about in commentary, Kate talked about then, Declan was eyeing the 2032 Brisbane Paralympics, and because of a world record short course last year and because of how fast he's gone over the last 12 months, now it's LA 2028 and he's now a Dolphin. What has changed?
I don't think a lot's changed. I just think he's got a great coach that and a great team behind him. I think that's got a lot to do with it, and he's very committed as well. So,
is this incredibly exciting, sitting in the stands, watching your son do extraordinary things and knowing that he now gets to call himself an Australian Dolphin?
Yes, it's his dream. That, be a Dolphin and next to make it to LA.
I think we're on the right track. Congratulations to you as parents. Well done to Declan. Brace, exciting times.
Aren't they ever? Well done, Gian. I love the parents' reaction there. And what about Declan Bud? Yes, buddy, you're off to Singapore for the World Champs this year. And isn't he stoked about it? Alongside his idol, Jack Island. Stay with us. Next up, the women's 200 free multi-class event. It's the Aussie Swimming Trials, and you're watching it live and free on Nine.
It's the only swimmer in the field that isn't racing as an S14.
Take your marks.
Away we go in the final of the women's 200 metres freestyle multi-class. And the speed in the centre lanes, Maddie McTurnan in lane 4 and Ruby Storm in 5. And showing up in front in the outer lanes, Taylor Corrie in lane number 2 off to a flyer, swam 2:20.79 in the heats. And also Kale Thompson with that front end speed.
Kale Thompson having a brilliant first 20 metres. Remember, all of these athletes are in the same classification, so they are racing head to head with the exception of lane 8. So whoever touches the wall first here will win the race, but they're all trying to get under that qualifying time of 2:10.41. We are keeping our eyes on lane 4. However, Madeline McTurnan, she will need to split in around about a 1:04 flat to be able to achieve that qualifying time, but giving her a run for her money is Taylor Corrie in lane 2.
And think back to London 2012 when you were a teammate of hers. As a 17-year-old, she won 2 silvers there, including in the 200 free.
She has certainly been a mainstay of our Australian team. In fact, she's won the Australian Championships 19 times since 2012, but Madeline McTurnan's making it difficult for Taylor Corrie to make that 20. She is having a brilliant performance here.
Really making her move mid-race is Maddie McTurnan. Trying to latch back on is Ruby Storm alongside her in lane number 5, and those two are clearing out at the top. Remember the qualifying time for the S14, 2:10.41. Can they threaten that here?
Let's hope so. It will be a very important team for Madeline McTurnan to make her time of 1:38.1 then is actually 0.3 ahead of her 150 split that she achieved in Paris. So she is ahead of her personal best time. Looks like she could be under that qualifying time.
A winner of 1 gold and 3 silver at the last 2 world champs in relay teams. And she's bringing it home strong. 2:10.41 might just be out of reach. Qualifying time not a factor right now, but McTurnan in a class of her own. A length and a half clear, stops the wall 2:12.92. 2.5 seconds outside of that qualifying time, followed by Storm and Lucy.
Just outside that qualifying time. Look, they're as tough as they come. She was charging to the wall, lifting that stroke rate up, but with that stroke rate came a little bit of fatigue. She was starting to shorten that stroke up, slipping on her stroke a little bit there, but 10 out of 10 for effort, Madeline McTurnan. She will have another chance at qualifying for our World Championships team later this week in the 100-metre backstroke as well as the 100-metre freestyle. Here we see Cotter finishing off her race, Brooke Cotter in lane 8 from Belgravia. She is 39 years old in the S6 class, which includes swimmers of short stature or amputations of both arms or moderate coordination problems with one side of their body.
And swimming here with a broken toe on her left foot. Kicked a piece of furniture in May. We all know about that, and unfortunately it broke her toe. It's been a real inconvenience on the turns.
It has been, but as you can see here, she doesn't use her legs in swimming. And so a big advantage of being a para-swimmer actually is sometimes when you break your toe, it might not actually affect your swimming, but it would certainly be very painful off the wall, off the turns there.
And what a reception. The cancer survivor, Brooke Cotter, as she hit the wall, getting a nice ovation from the fans here in Adelaide after the final of the women's 200 metres freestyle multi-class, won by Maddie McTurnan in lane number 4.
A very strong finish by Maddie McTurnan as she lunges for the wall here, but not enough to get underneath that qualifying time. So she will have to find sources of inspiration to hopefully swim under that qualifying time, either in the women's 100-metre freestyle or 100 metres backstroke later this week.
An improvement of 1.5 seconds on the heat swim from this morning when she put up 2:14.43, puts up a 2:12.9 here, and she's with Kate.
You steamed home, Maddie, just outside that qualifying time. What did you make of your swim tonight?
I'm very happy with how I went tonight, so very good to do another 2:12, like fourth time I've done it when I first time did it in Paris, so good to do this again.
And of course, this won't be the last that we see of you. You are swimming the 100 backstroke and the 100 freestyle. How does this swim tonight set you up for those events?
Well, this set is mainly a warm-up set, especially in lead up to the 100 freestyle, which is technically my main event as well as the 100 back, so both main events. So important to get this event, blow the cobwebs this morning and go do those races later this week.
So what is recovery looking like when you are looking ahead towards those races? You're a little bit puffed now, understandably. What are you going to do to prepare?
Well, I'm going to go swim down and then have 2 more light training sessions tomorrow and on Wednesday.
That sounds like a great idea to me. Thanks so much, Maddie. Over to you, Brace.
Take your marks.
200 individual medley for women. A ticket to Singapore, maybe, waiting. The qualifying time, the all-important factor, 2:11.96.
Good start from Ella Ramsey in lane 4. Also a good start from Kayla Hardy in lane 6. With good reaction times and cruising through that underwater.
So it's Isabella Boyd from Kayla Hardy and Ella Ramsey after 50 metres. The transition into backstroke now.
No one willing to take it out too hard at this early stage. And keeping an eye on where everyone is. You'll watch a couple of the swimmers during this backstroke leg head towards the lane rope. You can see Ella Ramsey just heading towards that right-hand side. Most backstrokers love a roof, particularly if it is a straight roof above them, to be able to stay within the middle of the lane.
So the first 4 swimmers touch the wall pretty much locked together. Ella Ramsey narrowly ahead. Isabella Boyd in second, Jenna Forrester in third.
Just keep an eye on that backstroke to breaststroke turn in the medley events. We've seen in recent times a number of disqualifications in this event, and it usually comes from that point in the race, the backstroke to breaststroke turn. Given that the rules have changed in the last year or so, but Ella Ramsey, as we said, looking for her to move through this breaststroke leg and all of a sudden opening up quite a substantial gap over the rest of the field.
Yes, she's a body length ahead now. A cracking breaststroke leg from Ella Ramsey, and she turns ahead of Tara Kinder and Isabella Boyd, and Jenna Forrester needs to get moving here on the final freestyle leg. But it is Ella Ramsey swimming in fine form. You'll see the qualifying line come up on screen. She's miles ahead of it. This is a slashing swim by Ella Ramsey, and a great performance by Tara Kinder over in lane 2. They're both going to go underneath the qualifying time, but what a swim by Ella. She's off to Singapore. That was a dominant victory. 2:09.21. She's 90, a second and a half, I should say, underneath the qualifying time.
That was a great swim from both ladies. Ella Ramsey, 2:09.21. Tara Kinder over in lane 2 found something in that breaststroke to freestyle turn and just started mowing down the rest of the field in that final 50. She's finished with a 2:10.42, well underneath qualifying time. A reminder again, we have some of the toughest, if not the toughest, qualifying times in the world. You have to be top 2 in an individual event and under the qualifying time. The qualifying time is usually set from the finalists at the previous World Championships. So it is tough going. So the fact that we've got 2 women well underneath is just brilliant for this women's 200 individual medley depth.
So for perspective, Kate Douglas from the United States, the reigning world champion Doha, swam 2:07.05. So a little bit of work for Ella Ramsey to get towards that time, but she does have some time to improve, but she'd be thrilled. As will Tara Kinder, they're both with Kate.
That is right. I am with some very thrilled ladies down on pool deck. Ella, I am going to start with you. Congratulations. Little bit of a monkey off your back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the year after Olympics is always tough, but to come back, and I think that was a small PB from last year, I can't be mad.
No, you definitely can't be mad. Now, you actually qualified for the final in Paris and you couldn't swim it because you got COVID. How much does it mean to you to get an opportunity to put together another race on the world stage again?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to do the 200 IM World Class this year again. I mean, it's hard getting your Olympics taken away from you with something that's out of your control, but to be up here racing again this year is good.
You say it's hard. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I mean, I was going into that race thinking I trained the hardest I'd ever trained in Canay, and then I think I was ill at the start of the meet, so even just to get through the meet with COVID was a big thing.
Well, speaking of big things, Tara, you walked away from this sport in 2021. You have now just qualified for your first long course World Championship team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously debuting in obviously debuting in short course in December was pretty huge for me coming back to the sport, but I've always had my sights set on that long course team, and I've missed 2 Olympic teams now, so I'm just trying to look at this as a stepping stone towards LA, so it's pretty cool.
What does this mean after the heartbreak of walking away from the sport to be standing here tonight?
It means a lot. Obviously I've dealt with pretty low lows and some good highs in the sport in the years that I've been in it, but it just means a lot to me and my family. Like my dad, he'll be watching it TV somewhere, but he's been my biggest supporter through all this, so it means a lot to do this for me and him.
Well, it is an individual sport. There is a team behind us all the way. Congratulations, ladies, on the plane to Singapore. Soak it up. I know you've both got big programs, so off you go.
Pretty even start. Collett maybe ahead off the blocks.
Yeah, the underwater work there from Collett was fantastic. Took the glide very well from the blocks, maintained his streamline. Zach will sit back in this race, but that's the expectation. That is exactly what Arnie was talking about, is what stroke is different between the 200 and the 100.
Well, actually, he's a little bit closer than what we're used to in these shorter breaststroke events. He's about half a body length away, but he has some ground to make up.
So we expect Zach to be able to come through in this second 50-metre mark. His stroke looks good.
Nothing between them. The race looks like it's in the centre of the pool. Nash Wilkes, Josh Collett, Josh Yong right there. And Zach Stubblety-Cook's trying to wind up, but he's giving them too big a start once again. The qualifying time is getting away from them. Zach starting to come through the field. There's going to be nothing in this at the finish. The qualifying line beats them all home. It's Wilkes who goes through to win it from Lilo and Collett.
So very happy with that win there. Nash Wilkes, fastest this morning, fastest this evening. Be very happy with that. That's a PB for him. And it really came down to the touch as we watched Zach here go through. That's his stroke, much stronger in the 200. It came down to who was extending at the right time on that touch. There was a chance there for Bailey Lello.
Not all that much in it in the end, but despite missing that qualifying time, Nash Wilkes very happy, and he has been a significant improver in this event over the course of the last 12 months, and that culminates in a personal best again tonight. Wilkes, Lello, Collett. I think Josh Yong will be a little disappointed. He was third in the Nationals back in April in Brisbane. And also marginally ahead of Zach Stubblety-Cook. Let's go to Kate.
Well, I am down with the surprise winner, Nash Wilkes. Congratulations. PB this morning, another PB tonight. What are you doing right?
Just training. Full credit to Mel Marshall and everyone at Griffith. Yeah, they've really just helped me get to that next level, and yeah, this is just the beginning, so super stoked with that.
You are on track to be an Australian Dolphin. The likelihood is we will take you for a relay. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. Like, I've been dreaming for that since I was a little kid, and it hasn't been the easiest road. So to see the hard work starting to pay off is massive. So yeah, super stoked with that. Happy to execute again in the final. Yeah, full credit to everyone at training, my parents in the crowd. Yeah, no, stoked. So good.
Well, congratulations, mate. The whole of Australia is behind you. We have crowned a new breaststroke king of the pool here in Adelaide tonight.
Thank you.
Take your marks.
They're in the water for the women's 400 metres freestyle. 4:10.23 the qualifying time. Lani will have no issues in going under that. And Jamie Perkins, next to her in lane 5, you will remember, was a finalist in this event at the Paris Olympics last year. Lani did qualify to swim, but was unable to swim in the final because of illness. And she's doing it very nicely for the first 50 metres.
Lani looks good going through that first 50 metres. Comfortable stroke going out. And what she wants to do is set herself up with a speed that doesn't take too much effort, but you're getting the maximum efficiency out of it without putting in too much energy. What's important here for Jamie Perkins is to be able to stick with Lani, who's setting the pace.
So Ariane is with us here, poolside. They look to be going at a good tempo early.
Yeah, absolutely. Lani's out in 57.6, which is fast for her. I think the instruction for these girls is to go out hard. We've seen what Summer's done this week. We've seen what Katie did a couple of weeks ago. Their leg tempo's up more than they usually would be. So if you see the kick on Lani and Jamie, there's a bit more white water behind them, which means that they're using their legs earlier in the race, which means they're trying to get out harder than usual.
Yeah, so that second faster that we've seen there for Jamie Perkins in the first 100 metres, they're clearly going out and they've been directed. That's the way to swim this race. Now, there's a couple of methods that we look at with 400 metre swimming. One being to go out really fast that first 100 metres, have some consistency through the middle 200 metres and come home high in that last 100.
So Lani swimming with great authority, a body length and a half ahead of Jamie Perkins. This is a slick swim. Can she go underneath 4 minutes for the first time in her career tonight? Lani Pallister looks in fantastic form.
And we're looking at that world record line, only recently set. Summer McIntosh, superstar at the Olympic Games. Love to say that she's just arrived onto the scene, but she's still a teenager.
18.
It's incredible. And there is an amazing future ahead. She's had greats to swim against already, but the great swimmer that we've got here is Lani as she comes in to this 250 metre turn. This is going to be a great time.
Arnie, you mentioned that she could go sub 4 minutes here. Is that what you're thinking at this stage of the race?
Absolutely. Considering the splitting she's already made, she's under the first 200, well under a second faster than where she was in her PB. So if she maintains these splits, she should absolutely join that under 4 minute club. But Jamie Perkins is also having a wonderful swim. She's right in touch with her as well. She's got the legs going, but both girls also have their stroke rate higher than what it usually is. 2:58.5. Lani should absolutely be under that 4 minute mark.
Oh, how exciting is this? Lani has swum in the shadow of the great Ariane Titmus, and she's swimming in her own right here, leading the field by a dominant margin. You saw Dean Boxall, as always, very animated poolside. But Lani Pallister has a dominant gap. It's Lani versus the clock at the moment. This would be enormous if she could break 4 minutes.
This is great for Lani. Look at this turn. She's slightly slowed down off the pace here. This is going to require a very big 50 metres. Everything into this. We can see her coach, Dean Boxall, encouraging her to get that kick in so that she can do it. She went out hard. This must be hurting here.
Oh, what a good shot that is.
Come on.
And Arnie cheering her on. Lani Pallister, she's slayed the field. Can she go underneath 4 minutes?
Go, Lani.
She'd be feeling it at the moment. The wall is within touching distance. Yes. 3 minutes 59.72. What a moment for Lani Pallister. Jamie Perkins is also on the plane to Singapore with an individual swim in the 400, but this is a monumental night in the career of Lani Pallister.
Right now, this is the stepping stone that is required going into these World Championships that are coming up in Singapore. They're not too far away. A swim like that gives you a huge amount of confidence. We can see the kind of work that Lani Pallister's been able to put in with the way that she swum it, what she'll be looking for, and the difference that she's done from tonight when she races at the World Championships is how she can get into that last 100 metres with a little bit more speed.
Well, there you have it. Lani Pallister, encouraged in such animated fashion by Dean Boxall. I think that means kick harder. Well, whatever the message was, it worked, because she has etched her name into the swimming record books as a sub 4-minute swimmer in the 400 freestyle. I love what he saw, and it was great to have Arnie with us poolside as well, cheering on her training partner. The sheer adulation is obvious on the face of Lani Pallister, who goes to Singapore as, dare I say it, a genuine medal chance. Dawn loves it, Janelle loves it, and the nation continues to admire this incredible group of swimmers that we have on our hands at the moment. They made such an impression in Paris, and they're continuing to do so on the first night of competition here in Adelaide. 3:59.72, Jamie Perkins 4:04.03. They've both made the time, and they're both heading to Singapore, Kate.
I am with two exhausted but very, very happy girls. Lani, I'm going to start with you. You are officially a member of the 3-minute club.
Dean told me not to think about that, but I think it's been on my mind this whole year. When I moved to Dean in March, or whenever I moved after Flagstaff, I think it finally clicked that someone believed in me as much as that I didn't think I could do something. He had more belief in me than I actually had. So it's been incredible training with the group there. I'm day in, day out with Jamie. We've swum together, God, from you were 10 years old until 17. I don't think we ever thought we'd swim together again, but to be able to qualify with her, she's pretty much my little sister, and I just wanted to everyone give it hands up for Jamie as well, qualifying for her first World Championships, and she gets a post-race interview after not having that opportunity last year, so I'm excited to hear from her.
Well, I might go over to Jamie. Jamie, you are an Olympic finalist in this event because Lani stepped aside over in Paris. You can now say that you have qualified for the Australian team and are a Dolphin for the 400-metre freestyle.
Yeah, it was such a great experience last year to go to the Olympics and get an individual swim. I never kind of thought that would happen for me at 19 years old. So to come away with now another international swim on a long course team is amazing.
It is incredible, and your bond is so beautiful to watch. It is going to take Australian swimming to new heights. Now, Lani, I'm going to bring you back over here just for a second, because speaking of new heights, I know that my thoughts and the whole thoughts of Australia were with your godmother, Dawn Fraser, and she is here in the crowd tonight. What does it mean to have her poolside again?
It's so special. I called her last week. She was an event in Brisbane for German Shepherds Australia, so she told me then that she'd be making the trip down, and I'm so grateful having her in my life as a friend, but also as an inspiration and a role model. I think she's one of Australia's original inspirations and original Golden Girls, so to me she's Dawny, to everyone else she's an Australian icon, and yeah, I'm so grateful for her and my mum's friendship, which has led to ours.
Well, we could have two new Australian icons in the making, because we have two girls on the plane to Singapore. Congratulations, Jamie and Lani. Fantastic efforts tonight.
Three-time Paralympic gold medalist, 5-time Paralympian, as well as a dad to young Dodie, and recently added another member to the family, young Hugo, so I'm sure his wife, Britt, and his two boys are watching at home.
So away in the final of the men's 400 metres freestyle multi-class. So Brendan Hall is an S9 swimmer, Callum Simpson an S8 swimmer, Harrison Vigg in the same classification as Brendan Hall. So they go in lanes 4 and 5, the two S9 swimmers. Ethan Blocky, the 18-year-old, is an S14 swimmer. He's in lane 6. So they're different qualifying times, in particular for Callum Simpson and Brendan Hall and Harrison Vig to keep an eye on. The S8 classification for Simpson, a 4:32.27, and the S9 swimmers are looking for that 4:19.99.
Yes, para swimming is open to both male and female athletes from 3 different types of impairment groups. We have visual impairments, intellectual impairments, and physical impairments, with a lower number indicating that the athlete has an impairment that more severely disrupts activity. So it ranges from S1 through to S14. And our 400-metre freestyle this evening is going to be a qualifying event for our S8 and S9 competitors. So our S8 swimmers are a class that includes athletes that have lost either both hands or one arm, or have significant restrictions in their hip, knee or ankle joint. However, the S9 swimmers have a leg amputation, post-polio syndrome or arm amputation, or a variety of other impairments as well.
So Harrison Vig served it up to Brendan Hall in the heat earlier today, and then Hall had his measure at the back end of it. I wonder whether Harrison Vig has a little bit extra in the tank for tonight's final. Of course, he's looking to achieve that qualifying time that Hall and Simpson already did in the heats.
Absolutely. So Harrison Vig is chasing down a 4:19.99. I think this morning he got a little bit excited racing next to the great Brendan Hall and went out a little bit hard and struggled to finish that last 200. He looks like he is taking it out a little easier, longer in the stroke as they're coming into their 200-metre turn. So we'll see what time they split in. Harrison Vig here, 2:07.27, which is faster, almost by a second, than he was this morning.
And he missed the qualifying time by just over a second, so he's looking good, but has to bring it home in the back end. And how tough is that to do, to have a solid back end in a 400 metres freestyle when you've already raced the heats earlier today?
It is incredibly hard. It does take quite a lot of effort to recover from just a heat swimmer for 400. But Harry Vig, out in the first 200 a second quicker than this morning. He will need to maintain that speed if he wants to hit that qualifying time of 4:19.99. And this is where he's really going to start feeling this event. And that third 100 to 300 metre mark is when your body starts screaming to slow down, but you need to lift that rate. And he's very lucky there to have Brendan Hall in lane 4. He's breathing on Brendan's side, but he'll be using that as a little bit of a motivation, trying not to let Brendan get too far ahead of him. And I think Brendan Hall's doing a great job as a team leader here to hopefully lead Harrison Vig through to a qualifying time.
That's the kind of guy he is. He'll have that in the back of his mind. He's not just racing his individual race.
Harrison Vig is still maintaining that pace. He's still a second under what he was in his heat swim this morning. See that they're keeping up a really great pace, and if Harrison Vig can keep on this pace, he should be able to hit that qualifying time, secure his spot on the Australian swim team heading to Singapore in September later this year.
And Ethan Blocky, who's swimming a nice race, the S14 swimmer in lane 6, ineligible for selection. There's no S14 qualifying time, but he'll be classified at some stage officially for international meets going forward.
He will be. So for Paralympic athletes, they can be domestically classified, but to represent Australia, they need to be internationally classified. So Ethan Blocky hasn't had a chance to do that yet. Sure, he will over the next 12 months, but we're seeing our swimmers, Brendan Hall and Harrison Vig, now closing in that last 15 metres. 4:19.99 is the qualifying time we're looking for Harrison Vig.
How well have they paced it? Hall gets another qualifying time, and so does Harrison Vig. They're both going to Singapore. Brendan Hall has medalled in 6 different world champs, and now he's off to his 7th. They celebrate. And we'll check the time of Callum Simpson, already a qualifying time earlier today. And it's a 4:33.29. It's a little outside the qualifying time, but he'll be going to Singapore as well.
Absolutely, and you cannot wipe that smile off Brendan Hall's face. I think that just shows the excitement that he has for teammate Harrison Vig. He did share a Commonwealth Games team with him in 2022 in Birmingham, but Harrison Vig, more known for being a 100-metre backstroker, has just qualified for the Australian swim team in the 400-metre freestyle. I'll be very interested to see Speedy in Singapore how fast Brendan Hall can go once he loses that moustache, however.
And he's one and done. 400 freestyle, and now he can wait around for the team to be announced on Friday.
It's going to be a very special team. We are just seeing our last swimmer from lane 8 approaching for the wall now.
Oliver Martin, that is, representing Nudgee College in Brisbane, just 18 years of age. Fought back from a brain tumour at only 18 months of age. 10-hour operation saved his life, and here he is competing at the Australian swimming trials. So well done to Harrison Vig, who's booked his spot, already a Dolphin, P322, and he's going to be at the World Champs this year after being almost guided home to that qualifying time and paced by the man alongside him, junior Brendan Hall. And congratulations came for Callum Simpson, who's looked up to Brendan Hall for so long, and a Dolphins teammate now, and that's the celebration of the 22-year-old Harrison Vig. Job done in the 400 free with the 100 back still to come. Checking the times for you, 2:12.92. That was Matty McTurnan's race a little earlier on. The official time for Brendan Hall was a 4:18.41 in the men's 400 metres multi-class. Let's hear from the two stars of the show, would you?
Well, Brendan Hall, you said Paris was your last Paralympics last year, but you've just made your 7th World Championship team. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that.
I'm going to reel out some stats for you. We are 5-time Paralympian, multiple Paralympic medals, including 3 gold, world records, World Championship medals, father of 2. You've done everything multiple times over. What keeps you coming back to this sport?
Oh God, just to sum it up, it's just the pure love of swimming. And I've finally realised towards the end of my career how to really have fun with it. So yeah, to sort of pick a time when I'm going to finish is really hard, but I think it's safe to say this won't be my last World Championships.
Oh, you said it was your last Paralympics after Paris. LA might now be on the radar, and we didn't even bother shaving down, still got the mo. Yeah,
look, I thought I might as well have a bit of fun with it this year. Usually it comes off between heats and finals, but I'm just enjoying the little bit of rest in between races without having to, cater for a 3-year-old or a 6-month-old. Thank you to my lovely wife, Brittany, back at home, who's been doing all the hard work. So I'll be back shortly. But I was like, why not have a bit of fun?
We love that you're still rolling around. Congratulations to you, Brendan. Callum Simpson, congratulations to you. Qualifying time this morning, which is sensational. You're off to Singapore.
Yeah, pretty happy with this morning swim. I couldn't think I could have done anything better with that swim, so I'll be happy.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you. As I said, you're on the plane to Singapore. And Harrison Vig, congratulations. Qualifying time tonight.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this feels a bit surreal still. I've been picturing turning around and seeing that 4:19 for a while, and it's kind of still haven't really processed that just happened finally. But yeah.
This man dragged you out, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely did. It was so good having Brendan there, just chasing him down. No, didn't want to let him beat me, but oh well.
Well, congratulations to all 3 of you. You are heading to Singapore in September. Well done.
Take your marks.
Off we go in the final with the 400 metres freestyle multi-class, and Chloe Osborne, bottom of the screen in lane number 8, was the closest to the qualifying time. For the S7 competitors, you need a 5:21.03. In the heat this morning, just over a second outside of that time.
But we know that she can do it. She does have an entry of 5:17.7, which is 4 seconds under the qualifying time. So she will need to be able to put that race together. She would have spoken to her coach after a heat swim this morning and made some modifications to the way that she approaches her race plan tonight. But it can be, quite confronting coming to a trials and swimming that first event, getting a feel for the water, getting a feel for the crowd and the professionalism of this event. Can be quite intimidating to athletes such as Chloe Osborne, who's only 21 years old, but is a Paralympian from Paris, so she's definitely no stranger to racing at the high-stakes events such as this one.
So Poppy Wilson, about a body length clear in lane number 4 from Hannah Price, right alongside the 21-year-old representing the Campbelltown Swimming Club in Sydney. So we'll see the difference between them here after 100 metres of the 400-metre journey, about a second and a half in it. And back in 3rd in the pool in lane number 2, it was Sarah Howe, an S10 swimmer.
Chloe Osborne swimming about 2 seconds off her pace from this morning, so she will have some work to do. She has her work cut out for her. She wants to make up that ground, so swim under the qualifying time, but at the moment She will need to really pick up that pace if she wants to swim underneath that qualifying time of 5:21.03. But we do have Poppy Wilson at the moment from USC Spartans leading out the field and looking very comfortable. USC Spartans being one of our training hubs for our Paralympic athletes, coached by Harley Connolly, and we have seen a lot of our very successful athletes. Lakeisha Patterson, for example, training at that club, who isn't here tonight. She is the reigning world champion, but she's not competing at trials, but selectors can still use their discretion to pick her for the team due to illness.
So Wilson extending her lead here, tried a load of sports, tried dancing, hockey, gymnastics, cheerleading and soccer, but settled on swimming in the end, as it was easier to move through the water as an S10 competitor. And isn't she just moving beautifully?
She really is. She looks extremely comfortable. She's nice and long in her stroke. She has a beautiful body position, very, very consistent. There, being an S10 swimmer, this class is for athletes with the least severe impairment eligible for Paralympic swimming. It does include the loss of one hand or significant restriction or movement in one hip joint. And as you can see from Poppy Wilson, she doesn't look too restricted in the water. She looks very, very comfortable and taking out this 400 very nicely.
A lot of competitors taking the opportunity to blow out the cobwebs today in these 400 metres and 200 metre races, including Poppy Wilson, who goes in the 100 fly tomorrow. And considering that event, she made the final last year in Paris, finished 5th. So that's the one she's more likely to get the qualifying time in tomorrow.
That is her main event, and we are looking forward to that tomorrow. I personally wouldn't choose the 400 metre freestyle to blow out the cobwebs, but you know, some of these athletes, once they hit the water, they get hungry and the competitive side takes over. We saw that with Brendan Hall earlier, but Victoria is also having a brilliant swim out there in lane 7. Chloe Osborne, we will be keeping an eye on her. She is the closest to qualifying time. She split this morning in 3:58.47. She's coming into the last 5 metres there of her 300 metre turn. So we'll see what kind of pace she's heading.
Right around it.
3:58.47, like a Swiss watch.
So we will keep an eye on that, but the leader in the pool is Poppy Wilson. A consistent margin over the last couple of laps with Hannah Price back in second. Good competitive swim between these S10 classified swimmers. And just maintaining that nice even rate, and can't wait to see her in her pet event, the 100 fly, tomorrow. She is also a learn to swim teacher, and her pupils will be getting a lovely lesson, no doubt, week in, week out.
She's a lot of fun. I'm sure that her pupils also have a lot of fun there. She's coming into the last 5 metres here.
Remember the qualifying time for S10 swimmers, 4:42.04, so a big improvement on the heat swim, but outside of the qualifying time, and around 2.5 seconds back. Price in second. Third on the wall will be Michelle Faber in lane number 3. Her time, 4:58.71. So just outside the time she achieved in the heats this morning. Belando Nicholson, her time just under the 5-minute barrier. How's Chloe Osborne going? Our S7 competitor in lane number 8. Can she get that qualifying time of 5:21.03? Hits the wall.
Oh, so close. Just 0.17, 0.18. I'm not very good at doing maths quickly on television, but so close to that qualifying time. I know she will be disappointed just in a fingernail.
Still has the 100 free coming up on day 4. And remember what a valuable relay swimmer she was in Paris as well. Part of that mixed 4x100 metres freestyle relay, 34 points, where she was part of the silver medal winning team.
That's it, Speedy. And being an S7, she will contribute 7 points towards that 34-point relay. So she could still get selected with a 100-metre freestyle performance later in the week. It is very important to have a diversity of classifications when selecting relay teams. However, head coach Mel Tantrum has said that selection for this World Championships will be on individual performances, with relay team selections being considered after. So we'll cross our fingers for a good performance from Chloe Osborne later in the week.
So confirmation of the times here, and you can see how they are rated in terms of points. And the best swim was deemed to have been done by Poppy Wilson, who was first on the wall as well.
Absolutely. So that point system is based on classifications. The closest that you are to the world record, the more points that you have.
Your marks.
8 swimmers in the final, but essentially this is a match race between lanes 4 and 5. Sam Short hoping to atone for the disappointment of the last 12 months, and Elijah Winnington, himself a former world champion. Short with a good start. Promptly off the blocks. Winnington not far away. And Anders McAlpine, the 19-year-old from Griffith University, swimming in lane 7. Turns at the top of the field after 50 metres.
So what the swimmers should be doing through this first 100 metres, this is kind of where you have the opportunity to establish a comfortable speed for yourself. You don't want to go out too fast. There's a lot of strategy to this race. There's 2 methods that people generally use. Once you go out fast in the first 100 metres, 151.90 happens to be that world record split, 1.4 seconds off it at the early stage. The other method, and this is what we'll see from the likes of Elijah Winnington in lane 5, potentially from Sam Short, is to go out slower in that first 200 metres and then back it up in the second 200 and come home faster.
Arnie, he's really kicked clear here, Sam Short.
Yeah, his stroke rate's up for the first 3 laps of the 400. Have you noticed he's also moved to the other side of the lane room to not allow Elijah to get onto his draft? Both boys, their strengths of their kick. They've both got a big 6-beat kick going. Elijah's got a little bit more length in his stroke, which tells me he's a little bit more controlled than Sam at this point. It's looking to be a good race, hopefully coming down into the halfway.
200 metre mark coming up. Thank you, Arnie. Certainly moving across to the other side of the lane. When you're competing, you want every opportunity and every chance to get the best out of yourself. Even that competitor behind you can hold you back. You feel the weight of them. If they're sitting in the right spot, they get the drag off you. So that's the reason that he's moved to the other side of the lane, Sam Short from Elijah Winnington.
Gee, have a look at that. The world record line's not too far away. They're going to leave the qualifying time in their wake. This is a bold swim from Sam. A body length and a half ahead of Elijah Winnington. Can he maintain this pace? In fact, he's extended the margin. He's almost 2 seconds clear, Sam Short.
His pacing's been good from Sam. That world record line is staying about the same distance in front, so he's not making ground on it just yet.
How are you seeing this, Arnie?
He's maintained that high stroke rate all the way through. He just took a double breath on the turn there, though. That means he's fatiguing. Yep. Look for Elijah's legs on this last 100. His last 100 is his strength. I'm hoping it comes down to a match race, but Sam looks like he's kicking away again here.
Gee, it's great to see him back near his best. The world champ from Japan 2 years ago, Sam Short, leading Elijah Winnington by the best part of 2 body lengths. He'll turn for home here. He might be getting a little tired, but he's got a very dominant margin here, Ian.
Yep, and look at that world
look
record.
At the world record.
What I warn people about is it's going to be very tight when it comes to when it was a fast split 27.57 from Lucas Martins. That's why it's ticking away a little bit faster now. He would have been getting ahead. But this is a great swim.
Oh, it's quite a statement from Sam Short. The disappointment in Paris is well and truly behind him. What a swim.
Superb swim.
3:41.03. Look out, world. Sam is heading to Singapore. And he's got business on his mind. Elijah Winnington well underneath the qualifying time as well. They are a very formidable combination.
Yep. Great race there from both of our fastest 2 Australians in the 400 metres freestyle, as we mentioned. It is great history. Sam Short going 3 minutes 41, just 0.4 of a second outside of his best time. And this is out of season. It gets exciting for what he could do at the World Championships in Singapore. Came down off a training block, raced in South America, spent time there and in the States. He's happy with that.
And there is a steely determination across the face of Sam Short. I'm sure he's using this week to reinforce his credentials. He had that shoulder problem, he had that illness, but that is behind him, and that was most impressive. Both Sam and Elijah are with Kate.
Well, I am with two absolute legends of the sport who were showing us how it was done. Now, Sam, I am going to come to you. You came out here with a point to prove, and you've done it.
Yeah, I really want to do that. I've been trying to do that all year. Obviously last year I probably didn't live up to my own expectations, and I've worked really hard this year, both mentally and physically, and just trying to have fun with it. I've had a great year so far and booked the ticket and keen to race the best in the world.
Talk to me a little bit about last year. Absolutely, congratulations. But talk to me a little bit about last year. It didn't go the way you wanted. Sport is full of highs and lows, devastation and heartbreak. What did you do to pull yourself back from that?
I mean, I'm just really grateful. I got some great parents. I got a great support network at home, and Damien and Tim, my coaches and support staff at Rackley, they've really come around me and just give me every opportunity this year to improve.
Well, improve you certainly have. That is a phenomenal time, blistering. Now I have to ask, the world record fell earlier this year in April. Did that put a little extra fire in your belly?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course. No doubt it's a lot different under race situations. Elijah's a veteran, he gets it done on the world stage, and I like to think I'm usually pretty good at that too. So, I mean, bring it on in Singapore.
Now, Elijah, I'm going to bring you in. Congratulations. That was a really solid swim. What did you make of it tonight?
Yeah, it was pretty tough out here. I sort of mentioned this morning to the media that trials is about making the team, and I booked my ticket and 5.5 weeks to get prepared. And as Shorty mentioned, Lucas breaking the world record and going under 340 for the first time. Us Aussies, we're really proud in that event. We have Thorpe up here. I've seen his face somewhere here with Hackett, and it's exciting that we can Shorty and I can push each other to try and break that barrier.
Well, I'm just going to throw out a couple of names. Kieran Perkins, Grant Hackett, Ian Thorpe, Elijah Whittington and Sam Short are all world champions in this event, and now you two are off to Singapore. Congratulations. We cannot wait to see you compete over there.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kate. Cheers, guys.
No room for error in the men's 50 backstroke. Cooper was away well in lane 4. Armbruster similarly started well in lane 6. It might be Armbruster narrowly ahead here. Cooper, though, starting to get into his work. Past the halfway mark. It's Isaac Cooper getting the better of the rest of the field. That qualifying line looks like it's within reach. Cooper goes into touch. He's got the qualifying time and he has a chance to defend his world title in Singapore.
24.69 for Isaac Cooper, so just 4/100 slower than this morning's swim, and he looks a little bit confused by that. How did that happen? I thought I was swimming faster than this morning. So Ben Armbruster with a 25.02. So just outside qualifying for Ben. Isaac Cooper, all important. It's all about qualifying here. Wondering if not shaving the mustache is the difference between... Yes. Wonder if he's going to save that for later in the program or whether he's going to keep it for a bit now.
So men's 100 metres backstroke tomorrow, and we'll see a lot of those swimmers compete, and maybe they can seal a place through in that particular event. Let's go to Kate poolside.
Well, Isaac Cooper, you have punched your ticket to Singapore. What did you make of that swim tonight?
I'm pretty happy with that. This has been my shortest prep leading into a competition ever. I had a pretty big break off the end of last year, and I can honestly say that this is the most I've been enjoying training. So to be able to come here and get another qualifying time and be able to have an opportunity to race again in Singapore, it's pretty special.
Now, the 50 form strokes had kind of been looked down on a little bit by the Olympic community. What does it mean to have the 50 backstroke as an Olympic event for LA?
I think it's kind of hard to put into words, really, and I don't think that many people will really fully understand what it means for the sport until Olympic medals are being won in these individual 50 events. But I mean, I'm going to be putting my best foot forward to hopefully be making that Olympic team and seeing if I can be one of those people as well.
Well, you are the defending world champion in this event and you have just punched your ticket to go to Singapore. Isaac Cooper, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Kaylee's world record is 26.86. She made a great start. No hesitation whatsoever, especially when you consider what happened earlier today. Molly next to her in lane 5. There's not a lot between them.
It's a little nervous start from Kaylee, not as far underwater as she was even this morning in the heat. Molly is pushing her all the way
What
here.
a great
This is
swim
an
by
upset.
Molly O'Callaghan. Molly is taking it to Kaylee McEwen. It's going to come down to the touch of the wall. Kaylee's got there in the last possible fraction. What a race.
27.33 for Kaylee, 27.39, just 6/100ths of a second in it. Great swim from Molly. As we said, maybe a little bit of a nervous start from Kaylee. She was slower to bring herself up to the blocks. Wasn't as far underwater and almost slightly off centre, so not the race we've seen her put together when she is on world record pace, but it's all about qualifying here. Both Kaylee and Molly underneath qualifying time.
What a sensational swim by Molly O'Callaghan. Two of our great champions going stroke for stroke. But Kaylee just touches first. So there you have it, Kaylee and Molly, both registering the qualifying time. Let's head down to Kate, who's got both of those ladies with her.
I am lucky to be joined by two bona fide superstars. Kaylee, I'm going to start with you. It has been an intense couple of hours, a DQ, a reinstated, and now finally punching your ticket to Singapore. What has the past 8 hours been like?
I mean, I guess it's just the way that the cookie crumbles, but, you know, I'm really happy to have had the chance to race tonight. It wasn't exactly what I wanted or what I've trained for, but, you know, like you said, I'm on the team, so I'm happy for that.
Now, we know that you are your toughest critic. I saw you watching the replay of the race. What would you say to yourself if you were your coach?
Do it again. I don't know. You know, it has been a huge year, change of club. It's not easy to kind of just slot into something like that, but I'm really enjoying where I am and I'm the happiest I've been in a really long time, so that's my priority at the moment.
Yeah, that is a great priority. I just want to ask you what happened this morning. Did you have a sense off the start that something had gone wrong, or was it a complete shock when you looked at the scoreboard?
No, I knew straight away. But like I said before, I'm not really going to comment on any further. It's just what happens.
It's just one of the things that you have to deal with as racing. Now, speaking of dealing with things, you nearly caused a little upset, Miss Molly. How was that swim tonight?
It was all right. Like, I don't really do backstroke, so I'm pretty happy with anything. But I know I'm capable of a lot more. That time is a bit off, but, you know, Kaylee and I are very tough on ourselves, and I know that in the future with more practice and, I guess, more learning and experience over time that I could master it.
Well, you say you're not a backstroker, but this has just become an Olympic event. Is that tempting at all? Surely it's a little bit more attractive than a 200 freestyle.
I do like my 200, you know. I think you learn to love your event over time. I really hated the 200 at the start, but the same with the 50. I'm really excited that it's been added in. It gives another opportunity to people like Kaylee who swim the 100 and 200 backstroke freestyle. We have so many options to race in relays and multiple other events. So I think for myself, I would always love to add another event, but I guess that's a few years' time to worry about that.
Yeah, well, Kaylee, I want to ask your opinion on the news that this is going to be an Olympic event. What did you hear when you saw that news come down?
Look, I'm a big fan of 100s, 200s. For me, it's going to be a really tough decision whether I do 200 IM or do the 50 back, so that's something that I've got to figure out over the next 3 years. But, you know, I love swimming my medley. I had a bit of FOMO watching the girls tonight, but, yeah, watch the space.
You can tell that she is a true champion and swimming fan if she says that it's a difficult choice between a 2 IM and a 50 backstroke. Kaylee, Molly, congratulations. You have punched your tickets to Singapore.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.